Hello, I just want to say thank you all for coming. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Miss St. Louis. Today we have Miss Jane Doe, who is Joe Doe's mother. We have our general education teacher, who is Miss Williams. We have our special education teacher, who is Miss Singh. We have our speech therapist, who is Miss Baptiste. We have our occupational therapist, who is Mr. Elmore, and our district rep, Miss Panaligan. And I want to say thank you all for coming. Okay. So I would first like to discuss the reason why we are here, and our reason is to meet for an initial IEP for Joe Doe. And first, let us start off with some meeting norms. I would just like everyone to make sure we are communicating clearly and listening carefully, and that we are respecting each other's views. And please ask and welcome any questions that you have for clarification of anyone who is speaking. Thank you. Okay, as we know that Joe is currently in kindergarten, and Joe's classification of his disability is autism. Presently, Joe is on grade level in ELA and in math, and his language skills are age appropriate. The student does have difficulties with his social and coping skills, but the student is extremely well developed in his verbal comprehension skills. He is currently working on his writing, and the student currently does not have a behavioral intervention plan. The student currently needs special transportation, and the student also tends to become a little overwhelmed in loud places. He also tends to be extremely anxious and is easily agitated, and he does not play cooperatively with children in his class. Some of the management needs that Joe needs is that he needs refocusing and redirection, development and implementation of FBA and BIP. The student will benefit from modeling of appropriate behaviors, planned, ongoing lesson plans, role-playing opportunities, and he will benefit from positive reinforcement. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add on Joe's behalf? Okay, thank you. Ms. Doe, I would like to ask you, are there any services you believe that Joe should be receiving that he's not receiving right now? Okay. Is there a concern that Joe may need extended school year services? I know that he is not receiving that right now. Do you believe that that is something that he would benefit from? Okay, thank you. Just so we're clear, we're going to go over some measurable annual goals that we believe that Joe should be doing. So our first goal is that the student should remain focused on a task during structured and unstructured activities in order to complete a task with minimal verbal reminders when faced with distractible stimuli in the classroom. And our measurement to determine if the goal has been achieved is 60% mastery in 3/4 of his lesson. The progress will be measured through class activities from the teacher or the provider who is observing. Our next annual goal is for the student to establish and initiate and maintain age-appropriate friendships by demonstrating appropriate socialization skills. And our measure to determine if the goal has been achieved is 60% mastery in 3/4 counseling sessions. And the progress will be measured from a teacher or a provider through observations. Our next annual goal would be for the student to maintain his attention to tasks during seat activities in class for 10 to 15 minutes by filtering out auditory and visual distractions. And our measurement to determine if the goal has been achieved is 60% mastery in 3/4 lesson and our progress will be measured through checklists through the teachers or the service provider. Our next goal would be for the student to communicate and interact in a socially acceptable manner with teachers, peers, and adults within the school environment. So non-aggressive verbalizations or body language, appropriate contact, appropriate turn taking, and listening without speaking. And our measure to determine if the goal has been achieved is 60% mastery and 3/4 counseling sessions. How progress will be measured is through the teacher or the service provider, through observations. The next thing I would like to discuss are Joe's current accommodations. So Joe currently has a one-to-one paraprofessional to assist with his social and any activities in the classroom and or setting. Joe benefits from a highly structured environment, and Joe is currently in a self-contained classroom. Joe receives counseling services 1 per week for 30 minutes. He receives occupational therapy 2 times per week for 30 minutes. He receives physical therapy 2 times per week for 30 minutes. And speech language arts therapy 2 times per week for 30 minutes. In ELA, math, science, and social studies, the student will be in the self-contained classroom. Ms. Doe, do you have any parental concerns? Are there any concerns about Joe's social skills? And is there any information or observations that you deem that is important, that is happening at home that you would like to share with us, or any type of things that you feel that Joe is improving that would help with this IEP development? Okay, thank you. So I would like for us to discuss if you would like to sign the IEP, or would you like time to review the IEP before signing? Okay, so you would like to sign it later. Okay, thank you. If everyone could please just sign the attendance sheet, and we are concluding the session of our IEP. Please sign the attendance sheet and sign the verification forms. Thank you so much, and we will stay in touch. Have a great day.